All right, let's jump right in. We're going to take a deep dive into one single incredibly powerful verse from the book of Revelation. We're going to unpack it piece by piece to really understand a verdict that, according to the source material, changed absolutely everything. So here it is, Revelation 19, verse 2. For true and righteous are his judgments, for he hath judged the great whore, which did corrupt the earth with her fornication, and hath avenged the blood of his servants at her hand. Wow. I mean, that is some seriously intense and dramatic language, isn't it? It sounds like a massive celebration over a guilty verdict.
And that really brings us to our central question. It sounds pretty harsh, this celebration of judgment. So who or what is actually on trial here? And why is this particular verdict praised as being both true and righteous? Let's put on our detective hats and start investigating.
Okay, to really get what's happening in this heavenly announcement, we've got to go back to the source code, the original Greek text. Because hidden in the language are some major clues that basically unlock the entire meaning of the verse. The first clue is this word judgments, or krisis in the Greek. Now, when we hear judgment, we usually think of punishment, right? But krisis is more like a formal legal decision. Think of a judge banging a gavel. A verdict has been officially handed down. Next up, we meet the one being accused, the great whore, or porne. Now, hold on. The sources are super clear this isn't a literal person. It's a symbolic name, a code name, for this powerful entity called Babylon. We'll circle back to who exactly that is in just a moment.
And finally, there's the word avenged, ek dikeo, and this is so crucial. It doesn't just mean revenge, like getting someone back. It means to execute justice. It means to vindicate those who have been wronged, to finally answer a plea that's been hanging in the air for a long, long time. It's all about setting things right.
So with these clues in hand, a verdict, a symbolic defendant, and a powerful act of justice, it's time to figure out who's really on trial here. So who is this great whore, this Babylon? Well, the texts we're examining say it's a symbol for a corrupt, religious system, one that prostituted its spiritual purpose for worldly power and wealth. It turned temple worship into what's called a marketplace of manipulation. And you can really see the clash right here. On one side, you've got Babylon's way, using religion for power, for money, for control. And on the other side, you've got God's way, faithfulness, true worship, truth. The two are polar opposites. They're in a cosmic battle with each other. But why was this judgment so necessary, so urgent? Well, the source material connects this verdict in Revelation 19 all the way back to a desperate, unanswered plea that was made much, much earlier in the book. This is the motive. And here is that plea. It comes from the souls of the martyrs in Revelation chapter 6. How long, O Lord, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood? Can you feel the anguish in that? This isn't just some casual complaint. It's a raw, agonizing cry for justice that has been echoing through history. So whose blood are they talking about? This blood guilt is identified as the grand total of the system's crimes over the centuries, silencing the prophets, persecuting the apostles, and ultimately, the biggest one, crucifying the Messiah. This is the official charge sheet. Okay, we have the charge, we have the defendant, and we have the cry for justice. Now we're bringing it all together for the climax of this heavenly court case. Where and when was this final, definitive verdict actually delivered? So yeah, let's ask it straight up. Based on everything we've just seen, where did this all come to a head? When did this true and righteous judgment finally fall? Well, the interpretation we're exploring argues it wasn't some future event that we're still waiting for. No, it was a single, decisive moment that had already happened. A moment that literally altered the course of human history forever. The verdict was delivered at the cross. That's it. According to this interpretation, the cross wasn't just an execution. It was a courtroom. It was the place where the final judgment was rendered. So, how in the world does that work? Let's break it down. First, at the cross, sin itself was judged, with Jesus taking its penalty once and for all. Second, the corrupt religious system, the one that rejected and crucified truth, was exposed and condemned. Third, God's perfect justice was satisfied, but, and this is incredible, so was his mercy. And finally, number 4, the martyrs were vindicated. Their desperate cry of how long was definitively answered right there at Calvary. And this brings us right to Jesus' final words on the cross. It is finished. You see, in this context, that's not a cry of defeat. It's a declaration of victory. The judgment is complete. The trial is over. The case is closed. The sources argue this is the moment that salvation is shown to be found in Jesus alone, not in any religious works or corrupt system. So we're left with this final, massive thought to chew on. If the ultimate judgment on the corrupt systems of this world and the ultimate vindication for the faithful all happened at the cross, what does that change about how we view justice and grace in our own lives, right now? It's a powerful idea to reflect on.